These days, there are many smartphones that focus on its camera capabilities. Now, one of it is the Lenovo Vibe Shot, which even has a dedicated shutter button to take photos like a point-and-shoot camera. The other is the Asus ZenFone Selfie, which boasts 13 megapixel camera on both the rear and front camera. I'm Malaysia from KLGadgetGuy, and today I will be pitting these two devices against each other in terms of design, software, camera capabilities, and overall user experience. Let's go! First, let's take a look at the Lenovo Vibe Shot. In terms of design, this is a pretty device with a slim candy bar form factor that features two Corning Gorilla Glass 3 panels and with anodized aluminium frame around the sides. Since the Vibe Shot has a 5-inch display, reaching the last button on the far end of the device is not a gymnastic feat for your thumb. In fact, the Vibe Shot is so slim, I kept losing it between gaps on the couches and bed. Well, it fits every tiny pocket and clutch though. Now, as for the Asus ZenFone Selfie, the design is still very much like the ZenFone 2. The ZenFone Selfie sports the same display size as the ZenFone 2 at 5.5 inch, however it is longer, probably to fit a larger front camera. The back cover is removable, although the battery isn't, and comes in rather sweet colours of baby blue, baby pink and white. I still don't really like the awkward placement of the power button, but thankfully with Zen Motion, I can still double tap on the screen to wake it. Since this is a 5.5-inch display device, reaching the back button on the far end is a test of my thumb's yoga abilities. So in terms of design, the Lenovo Vibe Shot looks sleeker and classier compared to the chunkier Asus ZenFone Selfie. Ergonomically, it really depends on preference. If you really like something lighter but a smaller screen, then the Vibe Shot would be more suitable, whereas for a larger immersive screen, then the ZenFone Selfie would be better. Both the Vibe Shot and the ZenFone Selfie sports Android 5.0 Lollipop, with the Vibe Shot featuring its Vibe UI, while the ZenFone Selfie has its Zen UI. Both UIs are quite different, as the Vibe UI is similar to iOS style, while the Zen UI leans towards Android. Now, what's the difference? For one, Vibe UI doesn't allow an app drawer, so if you want to hide any apps, the only way is to dump them all in a folder and call it etc. or something. Now, the Zen UI on the other hand has a different approach to sorting your apps. Firstly, it has an app drawer, and in your app drawer, you can either sort your apps alphabetically or you can use the Smart Group function. What this function does is group all your apps automatically in folders according to its function, such as photography, social, tools, and more. Honestly, I prefer having an app drawer. It makes my phone's desktop neater and it is easier to look for my most used apps. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty. The camera. Starting with the Vibe Shot, it is obvious that Lenovo is focusing on its camera functions just from the looks alone. As you can see, the back looks like a point-and-shoot camera, which looks really sexy. On the top right corner on the frame of the device are two buttons primed for photo taking, one being a shutter control button and another switch to toggle between auto and pro mode. Now, looks aside, let's see how well it works. For the auto mode, the Vibe Shot performs well in brightly lighted situations and decently in low light. Focus speed is quite fast even in low light, thanks to its new laser autofocus technology. Now, even macro shot in auto mode is fast and sharp, which is quite a pleasant surprise as many camera phones have very large minimal focal distance. As for the pro mode, the difference in taking photos is that you can adjust the exposure, ISO, aperture, shutter speed, and white balance. On top of that, you can select pre-programmed scenes such as panorama, art nightscape, artistic HDR, blur background, wide selfie, and golden years. Yes, now many of these scenes have these weird names that doesn't tell you anything, but basically for blur background, you will get some sort of bokeh in your photos, and for golden years, you can do creative lighting photos such as light painting and star trails. As for taking selfies, well, we all know this seems very important to smartphone users of this era, so here's what Lenovo has to offer. There is an onboard beautifying feature that softens and smoothens your skin, but don't expect it to be slimming your face down or giving you a pointier nose. Now, one good thing about this beautify feature is that you can see your beautified face before taking your photo in case you don't want to look like a plastic doll. Unfortunately, if you plan to take selfies in low light, you won't have a front-facing LED torch or flash, but instead something like a fill light using the screen as its source, in pink or chrome tints. Now, honestly, I'm not sure why it was named chrome, but basically it is something like a peachy tone. It isn't bright enough to light up your face, but it does offer enough light to see your face clearly. So far, the quality of the front camera is sharp and clear with minimal noise. Next, we shall look at the Asus ZenFone Selfie camera. Just like the ZenFone 2, the ZenFone Selfie camera capabilities are great, offering lots of scenes and producing decent low-light photos. There is also a manual mode available for the ZenFone Selfie, which allows you to control white balance, exposure, ISO, shutter speed and aperture. However, the manual mode seems to be quite clumsy and can be a pain to control compared to the Vibe Shot. Personally, I won't be bothered to use this as Asus has offered a lot of pre-programmed scenes which is easier and faster to use, especially since they have covered almost all the ways you might take a photo with, such as HDR, beautification, super resolution, low light, night, depth of field, effect, GIF animation, panorama, miniature, time rewind, smart remove, all smiles, slow motion and time lapse. Some of these scenes are quite fun to play with, such as miniature and effects. Some might see these scenes as gimmicky since not everyone uses them all, but since it doesn't really affect the speed of the camera or the phone, then I think it's always better to have them than not. Now speaking of speed, the ZenFone Selfie is decent, although it sometimes takes an awful long time to focus when the lighting is dim. Compared to the Vibe Shot, the ZenFone Selfie takes longer to focus, probably since the Vibe Shot has its laser autofocus technology. But when launching both the Lenovo Vibe Shot and the Asus ZenFone Selfie, they both took around the same time to be ready to shoot. While with the Vibe Shot, you can hold down the dedicated shutter button to launch the camera app, with the ZenFone Selfie, you just need to trace the letter C on the screen when the display is off. As for the front camera, well, Asus has been promoting the ZenFone Selfie for its 13-megapixel front camera with LED flash. But honestly, I have to ask, why would you need a 13-megapixel front camera? Most people would just post selfie on social media, so unless you're planning to blow up prints of your selfie to hang around the house, you don't really need a 13-megapixel camera. When it comes to taking selfies, the photos the ZenFone Selfie produces are pretty clear, although in low light, the photos do have a little noise. But what I liked most about this front camera is the front dual LED flash. Surprisingly, the selfies I took in the dark did not make me look like some ghost and was actually almost natural. You can use either flash mode or torch mode. My only gripe is that after taking a selfie with the front flash, I become momentarily blinded for a few seconds or I end up seeing bright spots for a while. Now since the ZenFone Selfie has an LED flash on the front, the selfies you take in low light is much better than what the Vibe Shot offers with its lighted screen lighting. Generally, both the Lenovo Vibe Shot and Asus ZenFone Selfie has its own strengths and weaknesses, so it actually really depends on what you think is important. So what are the flaws? Well, the Lenovo Vibe Shot has this really annoying issue with reading the micro SD. It is actually really slow and laggy. Now this is a real shame as the entire package is actually really worth the money you're paying for, which is at 1,399 ringgit. As for the Asus ZenFone Selfie, its biggest flaw is the bloatware and lag. Now Asus is trying to provide so many customization options for its users, but by doing that, they have increased the amount of apps on its phone. Now on top of that, if you don't clear the RAM every now and then, the phone can lag. I suppose 3GB of RAM is still not enough, especially when I've experienced the smoothness of the ZenFone 2 with 4GB of RAM. But for the price of 1,099 ringgit, I can still accept that little flaw it poses. So that's it for the comparison of the Lenovo Vibe Shot and the Asus ZenFone Selfie. If you have any comments, questions or something to input, please drop a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like us on social media. Till the next video, this is Alicia signing out. Ta-da!